Hello! Last time you saw me, I came to the conclusion that Sonic 1 on the Sega Genesis was in fact, while flawed, a good game. And I also came to the conclusion that overall, Sonic is more good than bad. Crazy statement, I know. But that got me thinking to other Sonic games that I haven't played in a while, like Sonic and the Secret Rings, the first Sonic game I ever played. Now, when I was a kid, I played the heck out of it. I would replay the levels that I had locked. I didn't beat the game because I was stupid. But I really loved the first couple of worlds and playing through the main stages. It was really fun watching Sonic run fast through all the pillars and around walls and into cyclones. It was good stuff. And obviously, I was a kid. I knew everything back then. I still know everything, so this game is just gonna be as good as ever. It's gonna be the best. In fact, it's gonna be better than how I remember it. I just know it. I mean, it's got Sonic, and he's on fire. That's a good omen, right? Yeah. Oh yeah, it is. We're gonna play it. So let's just pop this sucker in. This game, it got me. Ooh, Sonic and the Secret Rings. You cheeky boy! Sonic and the Secret Rings came out for the Wii on February 20th, 2007. Perfect for, let me check my notes here. Valentine's Day release, I guess? Honey, I got you Sonic and the Secret Rings for a late Valentine's Day present. And I got you divorce papers. For getting you Sonic? No, for sleeping with my cousin. Oh, Dale, how is he? Sonic and the Secret Rings is notable for a few things. It was Sonic's first game for the Wii. It was to be mostly motion controlled, as well as being described as on rails, we'll get to that later, and it was the first Sonic game after the disastrous Sonic 06. Safe to say, it was going to be a interesting transition for the Blue Blur. Secret Rings was actually going to be a port for 06 at first, but that changed after it was widely agreed that Sonic 06 was a piece of trash. Yep, no weird human-animal relationship, no hyper-realistic Eggman, no Edgelord the Hedgehog, none of that was coming to the precious Wii. Instead, Sonic would be entering the world of the... one moment. Arabian Nights, Arabian Moons, I don't know the words. Where he meets all sorts of characters such as Ali Baba, Sinbad, King Solomon, and Majin Buu apparently, but how did he even get here in the first place? Well, let's go over that story. After awakening from a snooze, Sonic finds a giant ring on his coffee table when a genie pops out named Shara, who explains that her world is at risk of being destroyed by the genie of the lamp known as Eraser Jin. Sonic, being the good guy he is, offers to help and heads into the world of the Arabian Nights, where he quickly comes across Eraser Jin, who puts a curse on Sonic. Said curse being a flame on his chest that will kill him once it's extinguished. Before that happens, Eraser tasks Sonic with finding the 7 world rings, delivering them to Eraser, who will then release Sonic of his curse and use the rings to take over the world of the Arabian Nights. That, of course, doesn't happen, with Sonic banishing Eraser to the lamp for good, much to the displeasure of Shara, who actually had a thing for the pink meathead, to which Sonic replies with,
I wish for a mountain of handkerchiefs. Now, just let yourself cry, as much as you need to.
oh, because Sonic wished for a handkerchief at the beginning. I get it. Overall, the story is pretty good. There wasn't anything ridiculous, it didn't take itself too seriously. I like the touch of making the characters of the Arabian Nights be Sonic's actual friends, like Tails as Ali Baba and Knuckles as Sinbad, as it was a good way to add them without shoehorning the actual characters into the story. I especially like the dynamic between Sonic and Shara. I really believe their friendship thanks to their banter and care they had for each other across the entirety of the game. It's honestly one of the most underrated duos in the Sonic franchise. They make the cutscenes very enjoyable to watch. And this next part might just be me, but there were a couple lines that I interpreted as light flirting between them, and I thought that was cute. It didn't bother me as much as Elise and Sonic because it probably wasn't meant to be taken that way, and as I said, it was only a few lines anyway. Speaking of the cutscenes, they are visually very nice. I forgot to mention that this was the first entry in the, at the time, new storybook series that lasted all of 2 games, so the cutscenes play out like a book, and the visuals combined with the voice acting and writing makes for a story that's never really boring. As for the gameplay though, well, can't say it's boring either. I was a bit angry more often than not, but we'll get to why soon. Like I said earlier, this is a on-rails 3D platformer. Sonic is on a set path for the entire game, constantly moving through each location on a predetermined track. This makes the game a bit more interesting compared to other installments because you're not necessarily controlling Sonic per se, more so influencing him because like I said, he is always booking it. You can make him stop, but he'll just stay in that spot until you allow him to move again. You can make him back up, but he's always facing forward and the camera never pans behind you anyway, which is a really bad decision. So, like I said, more so influence, less so full control, which is great. So, for the most part, you're making Sonic move left, right, and jump, all of which control terribly. As I said before, this game is mostly motion controlled. To move Sonic left and right, you tilt the Wiimote, and at the beginning it is slow and loose. But don't worry, you can unlock an upgrade, that is right, unlock an upgrade to make the turning smoother. You see, Sonic wears the ring that Shara resides in. This ring can be given different attributes, with quite a few of them being really stupid. There are rings that make Sonic go faster, there's rings that make him control smoother on the ground, in the air, while sliding. We'll get to that, don't you worry. These specific choices for upgrades are baffling to me because what do some of the best Sonic games have going for them? The sense of speed and the good control. So why in the world would you lock those two aspects of Sonic behind an upgrade system, especially when a decent portion is purely spectacle where you're just watching Sonic race through an automated section? Wouldn't you want him to move as fast as possible from the beginning so these sections look more impressive? I would. Another thing that's quite bad is the jumping and homing attack. So basically, the rest of Sonic's arsenal of movement is also bad. So you make Sonic jump. No, you don't just tap the 2 button. No, he'll only do a short hop if you do that, which will never clear any obstacle. You instead have to hold down the 2 button where Sonic will not jump normally, he will begin to slide, not stop, and charge up a jump. Only then can you release the 2 button where Sonic will actually put forth some effort when jumping, allowing you to either cross a gap, go over a wall, or begin a homing attack chain, which, like I said, is also terrible. To homing attack, you flick the Wiimote forward, which by itself isn't too terrible when it decides to work. I don't know if it was because I was far from the TV, the kind of TV I have, the fact that I had a laptop next to me most of the time I played, but I would jump if I didn't slide right into an enemy because Sonic doesn't just jump for some reason, give a hearty flick and Sonic would do nothing. So much of the way Sonic controls just doesn't work to the fullest. The motion controlled movement is jittery and unprecise, even with upgrades, I'll get to why soon. Rail grinding works when it feels like it. Moving backwards is a pain. Killing enemies is a chore because of the clunky jumping combined with inefficient motion controls on the homing attack. It's a bad scene, but it unfortunately doesn't stop there because what makes every single one of these aspects worse is the level design. Because even when you get a hefty number of upgrades under your belt, you got Sonic moving quickly and a bit more comfortably, it doesn't matter all too much because the level design can actually lessen the benefit of those upgrades. Simply put, they do not accommodate for the higher speeds the upgrades allow. Many of the hallways are too narrow with a ridiculous amount of obstacles blocking the path, whether it be enemies that take up the entire hallway, spike balls, or walls, stopping the momentum entirely because you just didn't have enough time to react. It's super upsetting to finally get some good speed going that isn't from an automated section, only for an enemy to spawn in and cut you off, or wall forcing you to charge a slow jump and methodically float over it, and have to start gaining speed all over again, only for that to happen about 20 seconds later. A lot of the later levels for some reason also try to incorporate tight platforming into them. Tight platforming in a game like this? No shot. You're doing nothing but asking for trouble in a game where you don't have full, complete control over your character. Tight, narrow platforms should have been the last thing on Sega's mind when making this game. You'll either slide off trying to charge a jump, or misgauge a jump causing you to fall, or you'll be running too fast and just careen off the edge. It's never fun when this game tries to make you go full platformer, because once again, they do not accommodate for the upgrades you will have on Sonic at that point. We'll just take them off, I feel like I hear some of you saying, but that shouldn't be the fix to make Sonic worse. The developers should have scaled the level designs with Sonic's upgrades, because it's their job to make the levels, not so much the player's job to come up with loopholes to make them more tolerable. What's a shame is that there are a few times where the levels actually accommodate for the controls and the speed the upgrades give. The area to move is wider, the enemies and obstacles can be maneuvered around. It's rare, but when the levels get like this, it's actually kind of fun because it doesn't require inhuman reflexes or multiple playthroughs that you won't want to do to get through it in a satisfying way. If the whole game was like this, I'd be singing a different song here. But I'm not, because the controls combined with the way the levels are designed make for a horrible combination and a chore to play more than anything else. Finally, moving away from that, I want to talk about another problem I have with the game, and that's the missions. The main issue I have is that they don't really fit in a game like this. A super linear on-rails runner and missions that involve collecting rings, defeating enemies, and egg hunting just isn't a good fit. Oftentimes you'll miss what's required to collect and have to backtrack, which is a chore due to how this game controls. It also gets pretty tedious running through the same segments of stages, just now with a different objective. I wish they would have done something more akin to zones and cut out missions entirely, as the missions come off more as padding than anything else. They also don't tell you which missions are mandatory and don't tell you what specific missions you unlock, they just tell you that you have. This leads to the player just willy-nilly playing missions in the hopes that they're playing the right one or playing one that unlocks the right one. It's a total crapshoot. There's also mini games, but I didn't play them because I didn't want to, but they exist, and that's all I have to say about that. And the rest of the game, now that I think about it, in conclusion, Sonic and the Secret Rings is extremely flawed. Way too flawed to be considered anything close to good. It's got poor controls, poor level design, an upgrade system with shoddy choice of upgrades, a mission style of gameplay that doesn't fit for a game like Secret Rings. After hearing all this, you're probably wondering, Easy, is there anything you did like about the game? Yes, actually. Like I said, the story is fun, and the early game is also fairly enjoyable. Slower and looser controlled Sonic aside. The early levels are simpler in terms of level design, and that's actually a benefit because they allow the player to keep the speed going, and don't incorporate things such as tight platforming or an overabundance of enemies and obstacles in a tight hallway. So playing and replaying through the first 3 levels, I'd say is actually quite fun. But once you get to World 3 and onward, the game just drops off entirely. The missions are really repetitive by then, the level design gets really bad, and like I said, the upgrades don't accommodate for the tight platforming and overabundance of enemies that they will throw at you. It's not a good scene. If I were you, I'd get this game only for collecting's sake and maybe to bash it with some friends. Other than that, just look up the cutscenes on YouTube and you'll be hunky-dory. You know, this honestly hurt to replay. It truly did. Partly because it's a bad game, and partly because, like I said at the beginning, I enjoyed this game. I really did. When I was a kid, I could not get enough of this. I couldn't even get enough of the party mode. I played with my brother all the time, and we had a blast, but now I see all of its flaws in clear, perfect 19-year-old wannabe critic vision. And even with that sometimes blurred 19-year-old wannabe critic vision, there's no denying this game is trash. And that hurts. But I mean, simply put, there's a reason it's in Sonic's Dark Age. Oh my god, I completely forgot about Sonic's Dark Age. Yeah, the long stretch of time where Sonic was trying every different thing to see what stuck and nothing really did, and it was just bad game after bad game after bad game. Man, I wonder what started it all. I guess we know what to do for the next video. So, with that all said, I'm Easily Easy, and I will see y'all next time.